I was halfway through microwaving leftover takeout when every phone in my apartment lit up at once. Mine, my work phone, and even the tablet on the counter buzzed with the same harsh, mechanical sound. A low, throbbing alarm that seemed to pulse through the walls. I turned, confused, just in time to see the screen flash. Emergency alert, unknown hostile event in progress. Evacuate Houston immediately. No test disclaimer, no weather warning. Just that. At first, I just stared at it. You'd think after years as a paramedic I'd be used to sudden chaos, but this didn't feel like an ordinary emergency. There was something about the phrasing, unknown hostile event, that made my skin crawl. Then I realized how quiet the building had gotten. I turned the microwave off, my heart starting to race, and stepped onto my balcony. The view from the third floor stretched across Montrose, usually buzzing with life. Not tonight. The street was still, frozen, like the city had stopped mid-breath. Then came the sound. Not sirens, screams. I backed inside and grabbed my gear bag. Years of trauma response had conditioned me to pack light. Trauma shears, a flashlight, gloves, a bottle of water, and a portable radio I barely used anymore. I tossed it all in and headed out. My name's Malik Harris, 32, Houston Fire and Rescue. I've pulled people out of floods, fires, and collapsed buildings. I thought I'd seen the worst. I was wrong. I took the stairs. The elevator chimed on every floor but never opened. By the time I reached the lobby, I found my neighbor Kendra, ER nurse, tough as nails, hair in a tight bun, already in motion. She had a first aid kit strapped to her chest, and a wild look in her eyes. "You got the alert?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, pulling open the glass door. She looked around like she expected something to jump out at us. "They evacuated the hospital, told us to clear out immediately. Wouldn't say why. The ambulances never came back." Outside, the night air was thick, heavy with heat and something else. There was a taste to it. Oily, metallic. Across the street, a guy stood in front of his car, staring at his phone like it was going to start bleeding. Then another man collapsed next to him, just dropped. I thought he'd fainted until the blood started pouring from his mouth. Kendra saw it too. She froze, and I could see her nurse brain trying to make sense of it. "Internal bleeding," she said quietly. "But how?" The man twitched once, then went still. We didn't move. Then, down the block, another person dropped. And another. A woman screamed, tripping over a stroller as she ran. People began to scatter, bolting in all directions. "What the hell is happening?" Kendra whispered. I didn't have an answer. Then my radio crackled to life. Not a station, not even a voice. Just white noise and a faint, almost inaudible phrase repeated through the static. "Do not engage. Do not remain in place. Evacuate to open ground." I looked at Kendra. "We need to move." We turned the corner and nearly ran straight into Jordan, an off-duty HPD officer from the building next door. He had a hoodie on, a badge clipped to his belt, and a gun in his hand. Not holstered, in his hand. He looked at us, eyes wide. "You saw it too?" "No," I said. "Saw what?" "I don't know what I saw, but it's killing people." Another scream echoed from behind us, this one closer. We ducked into an alley and crouched behind a dumpster. Kendra was shaking. So was I. The last time I felt that way was during a failed high-rise rescue 3 years ago, when I heard my partner's voice fade under a mountain of concrete. Something was wrong. More than wrong. We weren't alone in the alley. Huddled behind a row of trash bins was a young guy, couldn't have been more than 19, wearing a red delivery shirt, name tag half torn off. Tariq, it looked like. "Hey," I said, crouching. "You okay?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said, barely audible, "I saw it." Jordan tensed. "Saw what?" The thing that's killing everyone." I looked at him. What thing? He shook his head. It was wearing someone else's face. Kendra whispered, What does that mean? I was dropping food off near Midtown, Tariq said. People started falling over, no one near them. Then I saw it. Looked like a cop at first, but it moved wrong. Then it just changed. Jordan looked at me. He's in shock. I nodded. Maybe. But whatever's happening, it's not normal. Something thudded behind the dumpster. Not loud, just a soft, heavy footstep. We all went dead quiet. Jordan raised his gun. I held up a hand. Don't shoot. Not yet. Kendra turned off her flashlight. The alley was dark, pitch black. I could hear breathing, not ours. Something deeper, slow, measured. It didn't sound human. Then it stopped. We waited. Silent. Jordan's grip on his gun tightened. I could see the whites of his knuckles. My own heart felt like it was trying to escape my chest. Tariq whispered, It's watching. Then a crash, glass shattering on the street behind us. Someone screamed, then another, a chorus of panic rising again. We moved fast, cut through a parking lot, ended up on Fannin Street where more people were running. Some were bleeding. One guy was on fire, running, not stopping until he collapsed against a fence. Military trucks rolled past us, floodlights sweeping the sidewalks. Soldiers in tactical gear barked orders, but nobody seemed to know who was in charge. They weren't rescuing anyone. They were setting up perimeters, blocking exits, herding people like cattle. We ducked into a pharmacy that had been looted already, shelves half empty, alarms blaring faintly in the background. Kendra found a flashlight behind the counter. I grabbed bottled water and painkillers. Not much else is left. Jordan peeked out the window. They're blocking off Midtown. I heard one of them say it's a containment zone. Tariq slid down the wall, hands over his face. It's hunting, that thing. It's not just killing people. It's choosing them. What do you mean? Kendra asked. I watched it, he said. It didn't attack the first group of people. Just stood there. Then it moved, picked one guy, then another. Everyone else. It let them run. Jordan shook his head. This is insane. What the hell kind of attack is this? I didn't say it, but I knew this wasn't a terrorist attack. This wasn't biological or chemical or even logical. It was something else. And it was spreading. My phone buzzed once more. One more alert. Different this time. Emergency alert. Unknown entity. Capable of infiltration. Avoid enclosed spaces. Do not attempt engagement. I showed it to the others. Kendra paled. They're telling us not to hide, she said, but also not to fight. So what the hell do we do? Jordan asked. Tariq whispered, Run. That's what it wants us to do. Run so it can watch us. No one spoke for a moment. I finally said, We move. Stay in the open. Try to make it to the evacuation checkpoints. It's the only shot we've got. We packed what little we had and headed out again. The city felt wrong now, off balance, like it had already lost. And I had the sinking feeling that whatever was happening wasn't just in Houston. It had started here, but it was never going to stop here. We moved fast. Not running, not yet. Running makes you loud, and whatever was out there, it didn't need help finding people. The four of us, I, Kendra, Jordan, and Tariq, kept to side streets and alleys, slipping past shuttered businesses, looted shop fronts, and the occasional body. The dead weren't always torn apart. Some looked almost untouched. Peaceful even, except for the blood pooling around their heads and the way their eyes stared blankly at the sky. Kendra kept scanning the windows above us like she expected something to come crawling out. This doesn't feel like a riot, she said. This feels wrong, like the city's been silenced. She was right. There was no barking, no honking. Even the helicopters had stopped. Just silence, like the city had sunk underwater. Tariq broke it. Where are we going? East, I said. "Toward the bayou. If we can reach the 59 underpass. There's an emergency depot there. Boats. Rescue staging." Jordan didn't look convinced. "That's assuming they're still running evac. It's the only chance we've got." We passed a corner store that had been torched, the windows blackened from the heat. Inside, the shelves were empty. Not looted, just gone, like someone had swept everything clean in one motion. A mannequin from the clothing shop next door lay in the middle of the intersection, one arm raised as if reaching out for help. That's when we heard the sound. Step. Not like footsteps on pavement. This was heavier, wet, like something dragging skin across concrete. We froze. Then another step, closer now. Jordan backed up, gun raised. "Don't move." I turned slowly, my flashlight flicking back down the street. A silhouette stood at the edge of the light. I almost called out. It looked like a firefighter, full gear, helmet, and boots, just standing there. But something was off. The head was tilted too far to the side, not just turned, tilted, like the neck was broken, and the arms hung too long, fingers reaching past the knees. Jordan squinted. That's Harris. Firehouse 42. I know him." "You sure?" I whispered. He nodded. "We did flood rescue together last year." "Then why is he standing like that?" Jordan took one cautious step forward. "Hey, Harris." The figure moved. It didn't walk. It didn't run. It shifted, like it blinked forward 6 feet in half a second, no motion between points, just there, and then there. We ran. I didn't wait for discussion. I grabbed Kendra and hauled her toward the opposite end of the street. Tariq was already sprinting, wide-eyed and silent. Jordan brought up the rear, but I could hear the way his breathing changed. Short, fast gasps, panic threatening to take over. We ducked into a parking garage, one of those downtown towers with spiral ramps and exposed concrete walls. Not ideal, but it gave us distance. We didn't stop until the 3rd floor. Tariq collapsed against a column, chest heaving. That wasn't human. "I don't think it was ever your friend," Kendra said to Jordan. Jordan shook his head, still trying to process it. It looked like him. Same gear, same patch. But the way it moved... "It's not just mimicking people," I said. "It's replacing them." Tariq turned to me. "So what now?" I scanned the open garage, its shadows stretching deep into every corner. "We can't stay here. Too many blind spots." Kendra stepped toward the ledge, looking out over the city. "There's movement by the freeway. Looks like military convoys, heading toward the west side." I joined her. She was right. A line of trucks moved down the 59, headlights off, blacked out entirely except for the glow of their brake lights. "Maybe they're falling back," I said. "Or maybe it's worse there than here." My phone buzzed in my pocket. A final alert. Emergency alert. Unknown entity capable of rapid movement. Do not attempt engagement. Evacuate to the nearest military checkpoint. I showed it to the others. Kendra nodded. "Then that's where we go." We moved back down to street level, staying close to walls, ducking under collapsed signs and weaving through rows of abandoned cars. Once we had to climb over a flipped city bus that looked like it had been dropped, not crashed. The roof was caved in like something had landed on it. Beyond it, we found a checkpoint. It was empty. Barricades still stood. Floodlights still hummed, but no soldiers. Just gear scattered in the street. Helmets, boots, blood. Not splattered, not sprayed, just pooled, like they'd been standing one moment and gone the next. "No bodies," Jordan said, crouching to inspect a helmet. "No casings, no signs of a fight." "They didn't run," Kendra said. "They were taken." I felt a shiver crawl up my spine. Worse. Tariq stood in the middle of the checkpoint, frozen in place, staring at something on the ground. A phone, still buzzing with a missed call. The screen read, "Mom." He didn't pick it up. He just stared. Then the phone flicked off. No battery, no light. That was when I saw it again, far down the block beyond the checkpoint, standing in the middle of the road, not moving, watching. It had changed faces again. This time it wore my uniform. Black paramedic jacket. Same boots, same haircut. I felt the world tilt under my feet. Kendra whispered, "Is that—" "No," I said. "It's not me. It's copying us." We backed away. It didn't follow. Just stood there. "Why isn't it attacking?" Jordan muttered. I didn't have an answer, but I was starting to get the sense that it wasn't killing out of instinct. It was choosing, picking us off, one by one, playing a long game. And we were still in it. We didn't speak as we moved. Every step felt like we were walking deeper into a trap, but standing still wasn't an option. The thing wearing my uniform hadn't followed. Not yet. That was somehow worse, knowing it was there, watching, maybe waiting, like it was studying us. We cut through a narrow breezeway behind a hotel, stepping over fallen ceiling tiles and broken glass. The building had been evacuated in a hurry. Luggage sat abandoned in the lobby. Someone had scrawled a message on the wall in red spray paint. "Stay out of the dark." Tariq saw it first. "What does that mean?" Kendra didn't answer. None of us did. We passed into a loading dock on the far side of the building. That's where we found the first real shelter. A shipping warehouse partially open, power still on. We slipped inside, pulling down the metal shutter behind us, securing it with a broken broom handle jammed into the track. It was quiet. For now. Inside, the place smelt of oil and cardboard. We found a break room with vending machines and an old TV tuned to static. Jordan searched the lockers. I searched the ceiling for movement. "I still don't get it," Kendra said, wiping sweat from her forehead. "Why this? Why now?" I sank into a torn plastic chair, my limbs heavy. If it was just killing people, it would have wiped us out by now, but it's not. It's pacing itself, stalking. Jordan sat opposite me. "I think it's intelligent, not just mimicry, strategy. It wants something." Kendra turned to Tariq, who hadn't said a word since the checkpoint. He was staring at the TV like it might start playing answers. "What did you see back there?" she asked. He finally spoke, voice hoarse. "It was me." "What?" "At the intersection. I saw myself." We all fell quiet. "It wasn't just wearing my clothes," he said. "It was me. Same birthmark on the cheek, same scar on my hand. It looked right at me, smiled, then vanished." "Okay," Jordan muttered. "Now I'm out." He stood, pacing. "You're telling me it can copy people exactly? Memories, details, all of it?" I shook my head. "No, I don't think it copies memories. It just knows what you look like. Maybe it watches from a distance, waits until you're alone, and—" I stopped. The rest didn't need to be said. We sat in silence for a moment. That's when the emergency lights flickered. Once, twice. Then everything went black. I heard the vending machine click off. The hum of the backup generator stuttered and died. Then, breathing. Not ours. A slow, ragged inhale echoing from the far end of the warehouse. We all froze. Kendra mouthed the words, "Don't move." I clicked off my flashlight. Darkness swallowed us. Footsteps now, not fast. Deliberate. Wet, dragging sounds across the concrete. It was inside. I gripped the flashlight tighter, wishing it was a weapon. Jordan raised his gun but didn't fire. We couldn't see anything. The steps stopped, closer than before, maybe 15 feet away. A whisper. "Tariq." The voice was soft, playful, and it sounded exactly like me. Tariq whimpered, backing into the break room wall. "Don't answer it," I said, barely audible. It took another step. "Tariq, help me." it said, still using my voice. I'm hurt. Please. He shook his head. No. You're not him. More footsteps. The sound of something brushing metal shelves. A crack of plastic hitting the floor. A can from the vending machine. Then silence. We waited. Nothing. Jordan clicked on his light. The room was empty. The door to the warehouse stood wide open. I locked that, I whispered. No one touched it, Kendra said. We didn't sleep. None of us. We waited until sunrise, watching that door, praying it wouldn't open again. When the first gray light crept through the dirty windows, we gathered our things and moved on. Downtown Houston was a different world now. Fires burnt in abandoned buildings. Smoke rolled through intersections. Sirens blared in the distance, but no one responded to them. We saw bodies in cars, still belted in. Whole families slumped together. The creature hadn't just targeted crowds. It had gone into homes, bedrooms, and shelters. No one had been safe. We reached the edge of the bayou just after 9 a.m. The military staging area was there. Boats, trucks, personnel moving like clockwork. At first, it looked like salvation. Soldiers stopped us at a checkpoint. Rifles raised, orders barked. Names, IDs, affiliation, one of them said. We handed over what we had. My paramedic badge, Kendra's hospital ID, Jordan's badge. Tariq didn't have anything but his phone, which was dead. Secondary screening, the soldier said. Over there. He pointed to a fenced area where maybe 20 others waited, guarded by troops in full hazmat gear. Why? Kendra asked. What are you screening for? The soldier didn't answer, just waved us along. As we entered the fenced area, another man whispered, They're not letting people out. They're separating the ones who've seen it. Jordan pulled me aside. This is wrong. We're not being rescued. We're being contained. Before I could answer, another alert popped up on the monitor nearby, the kind used for convoy directions. Final notice. Unauthorized witnesses will not be permitted to evacuate. Do not approach the entity. Use of force authorized. I felt my stomach drop. We have to leave, I whispered. How? Kendra asked. There's a maintenance platform under the bridge, I said. It might still be accessible. Jordan nodded. Then we go. Quietly. We waited until the next distraction, a soldier arguing with a man who refused blood work, and slipped past the line, ducking between parked trucks. No one followed. We found the ladder beneath the bridge and climbed down, the steel structure groaning with every step. I glanced back at the staging area and saw it, standing in the middle of the platform. It had taken Jordan's face this time, and it was smiling. I froze. It didn't move. It just stood there on the platform, maybe 50 feet away, wearing Jordan's face. The same beard, same posture, same tired eyes. Except they weren't tired now. They were hungry. Jordan whispered, Is that... No, I said, backing away. It's not you. The thing tilted its head like a dog studying a sound. Then it blinked. Not its eyes, its body. One moment it stood still. The next it had shifted 5 feet closer. No footsteps, no warning. Just there. Kendra whispered, Move. We dropped down onto the steel girders below the bridge. A maintenance network ran beneath the road. Crossbeams, platforms, narrow walkways. It wasn't built for running, but we didn't have a choice. I went first, gripping the rails and climbing fast. Kendra followed. Tariq stumbled, nearly falling. Jordan caught him and shoved him ahead. I'll hold it off, Jordan said. No, I snapped. It took my face, he said. I'm not going to run from it. Then he was fired. 3 shots. The cracks echoed under the bridge like thunder. The creature didn't move. Then it blinked again, and Jordan was gone. Not dead, just gone. No scream, no struggle, just air where he'd stood. I heard Kendra gasp behind me. Tariq dropped to his knees on the catwalk. No, not again. We have to go, I said. We climbed deeper into the steel skeleton of the bridge, trying to stay beneath the patrol routes. The river below was black and cold. Helicopters passed overhead. Floodlights scanned the bridge surface, but none dipped low enough to see us. Kendra stopped on a narrow beam. We're being picked off, one at a time. I know. It's choosing us, studying us. Tariq looked up. Then why me? Why Jordan? Why not you yet? I didn't answer. I didn't have one. We reached the Brooklyn side, or what used to be safe. Another checkpoint waited, but this one was worse. Soldiers stood with rifles raised, faces hidden behind mirrored visors. A fence blocked the entire off-ramp. Beyond them, evacuees sat in rows, not walking, not moving, just sitting. They're not screening, Kendra said, her voice shaking. They're isolating, like we're infected. Maybe we are, I said. The soldier on the bridge spotted us. He lifted his rifle. Halt! We backed up fast. Then Tariq screamed. We turned. He wasn't behind us anymore. His flashlight lay spinning on the metal grating. I stepped forward, calling his name. No answer. Just a soft noise, like something sliding over steel. A breath, a whisper. Kendra pulled me back. He's gone. I looked around. There was nowhere to hide on that beam. Nowhere to run. The creature didn't need space. It didn't even need to touch you. It just chose you, and you vanished. What does it want? Kendra asked. I don't know. It's just you and me now. I looked at her. We ducked behind a ventilation duct and waited. Patrols passed above. Boats circled below. We were surrounded. This feels like a net, she said. They're tightening it. Yeah, and we're the fish. We waited for dark. Kendra sat with her arms around her knees, rocking gently. I should have stayed at the hospital. Maybe helped someone. They cleared it for a reason. You'd be dead. Maybe I should be. I looked at her. Don't say that. She shook her head. I'm tired, Malik. I haven't slept. I've seen more death tonight than in 10 years in the ER. And we don't even know if we're human targets anymore. What if we're just part of a game? I didn't know what to say. At sunset, the military launched another attack. We heard the jets before we saw them, streaks of light overhead followed by the bone-rattling roar of missiles. Downtown Houston erupted in a wall of smoke and fire. Buildings collapsed, roads split. The sky lit up in orange and black. They're not evacuating the city, Kendra said. They're erasing it. And then I saw it, far off, standing on the rooftop of a wrecked high-rise, watching us, still wearing Jordan's face. We didn't move. That thing, whatever it really was, stood perfectly still, towering over the wreckage like a vulture. Its silhouette against the fire-lit sky was unmistakable, tall, human-shaped, wearing Jordan's face, but somehow wrong. The posture was too relaxed, the gaze too knowing. Kendra saw it too. It followed us, she said, her voice thin and hollow. It knows where we are. It always has. I couldn't deny it anymore. It had never been chasing us blindly. It had been tracking us, deciding who to take and when. It had let us run. It had let us watch. We didn't have much time. I pulled Kendra to her feet. We head to the maintenance route, under the support columns. There might be a path across the lower span. You think we'll make it? No, I said, but we'll move anyway. We climbed along the steel framework, ducking beneath rusted walkways and down into the understructure. The lower levels of the bridge weren't meant for people, just pipes and inspection scaffolding. Below us, the East River churned with oily waves. Above us, spotlights swept through the smoke. Kendra stopped near a rusted access ladder and pointed. There, that vent leads into the drainage tunnels under the old naval yard. Let's go. She climbed first. I followed. Halfway up, I glanced back. It was crawling towards us. Not walking, crawling, on all fours, silently, still wearing Jordan's face. But its arms were too long, fingers curled like hooks, joints bending in the wrong directions. I didn't say a word. If Kendra saw it, she'd freeze. We reached the tunnel vent and slipped inside, sealing it behind us with a pipe I wedged into the rusted frame. The tunnel beyond was dark, narrow, and humid. We had to crouch to walk. The air was thick and warm, tasting of mold and metal. Kendra turned her flashlight ahead. The walls were covered in scratch marks. "What are those?" she whispered. I traced a gouge with my hand, deep, recent. "I think someone else came through here." "And didn't make it out." I didn't respond. We moved in silence, flashlights cutting cones through the damp black. At one point, we found a phone. Screen shattered, long dead. Next to it, a boot. Still upright, as if someone had simply stepped out of it mid-run. We were close to the shoreline now. I could smell salt and sewage and burning fuel. If we could just reach a dock, any dock, we could find a boat. That was the idea. It had to be. "Wait," Kendra said. I stopped. We both heard it. Breathing. Not fast or panicked. Calm, measured, right behind us. I turned, flashlight trembling in my grip. The tunnel was empty, but the light dimmed slightly, and I saw something that nearly broke me. Me, standing at the far end of the tunnel, same jacket, same bag, same blood-smeared boots. It stood in silence, head slightly tilted. Kendra gasped. "Malik." "I know," I whispered. "It's not me." Then it opened its mouth, and I saw its real face for the first time. Not Jordan, not me, not anyone. Just skin that peeled away like a curtain, revealing a black, pulsating maw full of teeth that were too many and too human. The mouth didn't move, but I heard it speak inside my skull.
"You're the last."
I grabbed Kendra's hand and ran. We burst from the tunnel mouth into a small boatyard, sprinting across the gravel lot toward the only thing that still looked intact, a small patrol skiff moored at the dock. Kendra reached it first and began untying the line. I threw myself into the boat and grabbed the ignition. No key. She climbed in, fumbling through the glove box. "Come on, come on!" Behind us, the tunnel lit up with red light. It was coming. I opened the access panel under the console and hot-wired the motor. It coughed, sputtered, then roared to life. We launched from the dock just as the creature emerged. It didn't run, didn't scream. It just watched. Then it lifted a hand, and every phone on the dock, left behind, forgotten, dead, lit up. Emergency alert. Final containment in progress. No survivors beyond this point. The screen on my own phone buzzed once more, one last time. "Do not attempt escape." Kendra saw it. "We're not meant to leave." "We're leaving anyway." The shoreline faded behind us, firelight reflecting in the river. The creature stood motionless, shrinking in the distance. Kendra sat across from me, breathing hard. "Why us?" "I don't know." The river was dark, wide, and slow-moving, stretching out like a scar through the city. The deeper we pushed into it, the more the skyline fell away behind us, replaced by silence and smoke. The engine hummed low beneath us. Neither of us spoke for a long time. I couldn't stop thinking about what it said. "You're the last." Not a last, the last. I looked at Kendra across from me. Her eyes were fixed on the water. She hadn't said a word since we left the dock. I wanted to believe she was in shock, that we both were. But the silence between us stretched too long, too heavy. We'd escaped, but something was wrong. Something I hadn't pieced together yet. The city behind us was burning. Entire districts wiped off the map. Military aircraft still passed overhead, fewer now, but lower, more precise. Controlled demolition, not rescue. This was never about saving people. It was about ending something. My phone had died minutes ago, but Kendra's buzzed once more. She didn't look at it. What did it say? I asked. She finally glanced down at the screen, then up at me, and her voice was empty. Evacuation complete. No survivors unaccounted for. I felt cold. They didn't mean survivors who escaped, I said. They meant survivors who'd seen it. She nodded. We're still loose ends. I stared into the fog ahead of the boat. Then they'll come for us. She looked at me, and for the first time since I met her, I couldn't read her expression. There was something too calm in it, like a weight had been lifted, or like she knew something I didn't. I gripped the motor control tighter. What? She leaned back. Nothing. No, say it. Kendra finally said, I think maybe it let me live. I stared at her. She shrugged slightly. You saw it, how it chooses. It could have taken both of us back at the tunnel, but it didn't. Why you? I don't know. Maybe because I didn't run. Maybe because I watched. I didn't like the way she said that. A sudden thud rocked the boat. I turned sharply. Nothing in the water. No shadow. No wake. Just that sickening, heavy knock from under the hull. Kendra. Still no answer. My heart started to hammer. Say something. She smiled, but it wasn't hers. Not really. It was a smile I'd seen once before, in the tunnel, wearing my face. I backed up. No, it took you. Kendra, not Kendra, tilted her head. I told you. It let me live. I stumbled toward the stern of the boat. Why? Why are you doing this? She rose slowly to her feet. Because you needed someone to finish the story. The boat rocked gently. The skyline was gone. Only water and smoke and sky. You're not her, I said. No, it said. She screamed. Then it moved. Not quickly. Just a step. But that was enough. I dived into the water. The cold punched the air out of my lungs. I kicked blindly, desperate to get away, to reach anything. The boat faded into the mist behind me. I swam for what felt like hours, finally pulling myself onto the cracked concrete lip of a riverside maintenance ramp. I collapsed on the wet ground, shaking. When I looked up, the boat was gone, and I was alone, for now. But I knew what would come next. Not more alerts, not more soldiers, just silence. And then, eventually, someone would find me. Someone wearing my face,